Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask the CEO with Avrohom. Today, I'd like to introduce a very special guest. He's the CEO of Matillion, a company that reduces the complexity of a company's data journey by providing rapid time to value with data integration and data transformation software for cloud data warehouses. As part of this discussion, we will share how their partnership with Microsoft, their use of Azure and the Azure Marketplace have empowered them to scale and grow their business. It is my pleasure to welcome Matthew Scullion. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today. Appreciate being part of it.
Oh, it's a pleasure having you. Matthew, this is a very exciting topic that you're part of. We're talking about cloud and cloud data warehouses. Cloud is now a mature technology, and many businesses are moving their mission-critical applications to the cloud. One of the byproducts of digital transformation and moving to the cloud, as you know, is a copious amount of data that's generated by all our connected devices. As we know, data for its own sake doesn't have much intrinsic value. The real value is in the analytical information and business intelligence that we gather from that data. Of course, that's much easier said than done. What are the challenges that businesses and large enterprises struggle with when it comes to unlocking that hidden value from within their data?
Yeah, great question. And, thanks for the intro into this topic with that well thought out question. So I think it starts today from a position where competing with data isn't a choice anymore. Every company of any scale at all, every company doesn't just want to, but needs to compete using data. And if they're competing, they need to do it at an accelerated rate as well, as fast or faster than their competition. And they're doing that in the cloud. The cloud gives them the ability to compete with data, but is also fueling the fire of the need to, right? Because everybody else has got that same capability. And it's also against a backdrop of dramatically increasing data volumes. The millions of rows are the billions and thousands of billions of rows now, and the gigabytes are increasingly the petabyte data volumes. Dramatically increasing data volumes, but also crucially increasing data complexity. People today have more systems. Systems are easier to stand up in the cloud. And people have a combination of legacy on-premises, files, APIs, modern systems built in the cloud perhaps, SaaS systems, third-party external data sources and systems they interface with. And oftentimes to get the complete picture required to gain competitive advantage, improve a product, streamline a business process, better understand the customer, you need to pull that increasing volume and increasing complexity of data together. And so I think that is what causes the challenge. And what is the challenge? I think there's a macro and a micro. The micro is you need to take that increased data volume and increased data complexity and tame it. You need to get it into one place, in Azure Synapse, for instance, and onto the Azure platform, pull into one place, and often we focus on that. That bit's important. But we also, once we've got it in one place, we've got our ore, our raw materials data. But at this point, that's all it is, right? We've got the same data, but now just moved it into Azure or into Synapse. We then need to join it together and transform it, refine that data into something useful that supports BI, analytics, and of course today increasingly AI and ML. That transformation of data really is where value is created and where time is used by data integration professionals, and today increasingly citizen data professionals doing this out in the business. So that's the micro. And of course, we also need to be able to do that at scale as a team, probably against the backdrop of a sophisticated existing enterprise. I said there was two challenges, the macro and the micro. The macro challenge is doing that fast. In IT, there's always 101 ways of doing things. And everything I just said can be achieved in a text editor with Python code and SQL. The trouble is it'll take a long time, be hard to maintain, and require specialist skills. If you want to do it fast, you need lots of people to be able to participate. So ideally, you want a consumer-like experience. You need it to be sophisticated because data volumes are large and data complexity is increasing. And you need to be able to do all that quickly. I think time to value is the thing that customers value most in this need to compete with data.
Yeah, wow, that was really educational, and it really highlights those challenges that businesses struggle with. So what can businesses do to overcome some of these challenges?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Some of it's the people and some of it's the technology. So if we start off with the technology, perhaps, and I alluded to this just a moment ago in answer to your first excellent question. In IT, there's always different ways of doing things. And the cloud has provided a platform, an active site to compete in many areas, perhaps particularly with data and platforms like Azure Synapse to compete with data at an accelerated rate. You know, as I always like to say, with a few mouse clicks and an Amex card, you can now stand up a data infrastructure capable of dealing with a virtually unlimited amount of data. And so that's an example of technology. How you steward your data into, in this case, Azure and Azure Synapse, and then transform that data into something useful. Well, you've got choices there. And some of those choices are faster than others. And so customers can optimize to technologies that increase their speed. By using appropriate tooling and all that sort of thing. Crucially, I would suggest also in doing that, don't restrict them in terms of the sophistication of the output. Because at the end of the day, data is complicated and people are normally solving tough challenges. So customers can optimize for technology choices that give them both sophistication but also speed. And then the other part of the question is the people. And I think in general, more people on the problem is better as long as you can get them to work together resonantly. An interesting phenomenon we see today, and the way we think a lot of the direction of travel is perhaps a generation ago, on-premises pre-cloud data infrastructures were mostly the preserve of IT. If you want to go faster and you need more people working on the business problems, and ideally those people to be closer to the business problem so the cycle time is lower, it makes sense for IT to be there, but also increasingly for the business to be there. And we see that happening a lot today as well. Citizen data professionals, not just consuming data as they've always done, but innovating with data, doing this data transformation, working alongside IT or with platforms that IT have provided. Now, they need sophistication because data volume is not falling, it's growing. Data complexity isn't less, it's more. So they need sophistication, but they also demand a consumer-like experience. And so I think what companies can do at top level is focus on the technology choices that give them time to value with sophistication and empower both IT and citizen data professionals to participate in this quest to compete with data at an accelerated rate.
Now, you mentioned this term several times, citizen data professionals. For those that might not be familiar with that, what is that?
Yeah, so citizen data professional refers to individuals or teams aligned to business units. These people are data savvy, they're sophisticated, and they're cracking interesting and tough problems with data. But they didn't come up through the ranks of IT. So whereas I'm originally an IT guy, don't tell anybody, but I'd be interested in the underlying way things work and the security provisions and the type of infrastructure it runs on and how it scales. As a citizen data professional, in general, it's always risky generalizing, but in general, do they understand data in a sophisticated way and things like SQL and database structures and data types? Absolutely. But perhaps care less about how it all works under the hood. They much more are motivated by the business outcome. They're embedded within the business and closer to it. And so they require the sophistication, but aren't encumbered by the underlying IT infrastructure. And so I expect a more consumer-like experience. Does that answer the question?
That was a great explanation. Thank you. So let's take this excitement up another notch. So you mentioned Azure Synapse a couple of times. So Matillion recently launched a new offering on the Microsoft Azure Marketplace called Matillion ETL for Azure Synapse. So tell us about it and how it addresses some of these challenges we just discussed.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I would have still done the interview without the opportunity, I should just be clear. But it's lovely to be able to talk about the Matillion ETL for Azure Synapse release. So Matillion ETL first came on the scene in about 2015. Azure Synapse, of course, a new product line for Azure and Microsoft. And so it's been our delight to work closely with the Microsoft team to bring the category-leading data transformation tool built for cloud data warehouses, Matillion ETL, now to the Azure ecosystem and the Azure Synapse product. So what is it? Matillion is data transformation for cloud data warehouses. And really it talks to those value points that we were discussing earlier. If you want to be successful competing with data in the cloud, you've got these three main chunks of things you need to do, and you need to do all of them fast and scalably and as a team, right? You need to be able to extract data from a wide variety of sources and load it into Azure and Azure Synapse. Once it's there, you need to be able to transform that data, take raw, siloed ore from your different systems that you've now got into Synapse, but they're still ore. You need to transform them by joining them together, sorting out the quality, embellishing them with metrics, sorting out the granularity, all that business logic that takes raw siloed source data and turns it into analytics-ready data for use in analytics, data visualization, BI, AI, ML. All that piece, you need to be able to do that and do that productively, rapidly, and scalably. And then finally, you need to be able to participate in a sophisticated IT setting and do that as a team. Matillion comprehensively delivers all three of those value points in a purpose-built for the cloud and purpose-built for Azure Synapse data transformation platform. It's designed to be consumer-like to use and yet sophisticated. We like to think sometimes back to mobile phones with this. So there was Nokias, which were easy to use but basic, and there was Blackberries, which were functional but a bit clunky and required lots of back-end infrastructure. And then the apex was smartphones, right, which were sophisticated and yet consumer-like. And so that's been our inspiration for Matillion, all the power and sophistication to compete in the most complex use cases and enterprises, delivered in a consumer-like way that can be launched in 5 minutes, learned in an hour, and delivering value in a day. And so we hope this model works well. We've proven it out on other clouds and with other cloud data warehouses, category leader in terms of data transformation in the cloud, and now delighted to bring this purpose-built product for Azure Synapse to market alongside our friends at Microsoft.
And that was a great analogy you gave. I would love to hear any use cases or case studies you might have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, today, Matillion has over 1,000 customers spread around the world and across a wide range of industry verticals and use cases, from manufacturing, retail, high tech, services, banking and finance, really the whole plethora, because of course, today every company needs to compete with data. And in terms of use cases, it starts at the small and common. Companies perhaps needing to better understand their customers in order to service them better, perhaps deliver targeted marketing and offers. That's quite a common, simple use case we see. But whilst common, it's quite difficult to achieve because the data that describes a customer comes from a wide variety of sources. Maybe it comes from Microsoft Dynamics, from Salesforce, from Google Analytics, from Zendesk, from Marketo. There's a wide variety of systems that data needs pulling together, transforming into something that becomes a 360-degree view of the customer, and then surfacing through BI or AI or ML to then do something useful with. So that would be a very common use case. People use Matillion all the time for data warehouse modernization. Perhaps in the pre-cloud world, they were using a data warehouse appliance like Teradata or Netezza, great pre-cloud products. Maybe they were using a heavyweight enterprise quality data integration tool like perhaps Informatica or Talent, those forefathers of our category. But they're moving to a post-cloud world. They are perhaps moving everything not bolted to the ground into the cloud to deliver the better economics and agility. And as part of that, modernizing the stack, and at the data integration layer, they can choose cloud-native tooling like Matillion that gives them the sophistication of their pre-cloud stacks and the depth and the ability to participate in the enterprise, but also cloud-native and the speed and agility, as well as economics that delivers. And then also today, a lot of more contemporary use cases, things like IoT. We have a large number of customers loading event data, everything from software through video on demand, through large-scale manufacturing with sensor and telemetry data, then being processed in the cloud by Matillion to be fed back into those appropriate processes. For instance, making video recommendations on some brand name video on demand platforms that you may watch this evening after this interview, or in fact tuning jet turbines for more efficient burn and predictive analytics. And all that across those different use cases in a range of different sectors, in banking and finance, for instance, in things like security and anti-fraud detection, and of course for consumption in both BI, but increasingly today, and as I mentioned earlier, in AI and ML as well. So yeah, a whole variety of different use cases and industries.
That's awesome. Now, how would a company use your solution with Azure? How do people get started?
In terms of getting started, we try to make it super simple. This is one of the big benefits of the cloud, I guess. I mentioned earlier, for your Amex card details and a couple of mouse clicks, you can stand up a limitlessly scalable data analytics stack, and Matillion very much plays to that. That's one of the things our customers value about our software. You can head to Matillion.com or the Azure Marketplace, punch in Matillion ETL for Azure Synapse or Google it. Up will come the listing, and you can press a couple of clicks, and in under 5 minutes, Matillion will have provisioned inside your Azure account, connected to your Synapse instances, as well as your other Azure assets and services in case you want to use them. And then the product's designed to be super easy to learn, right? If you are familiar with existing data integration or ETL tools, things like Microsoft's own products, SSIS or Data Factory, the user paradigm is familiar and yet modern, and we hope more powerful, but familiar, so you can pick it up quickly. But crucially to the citizen data integrator as well, like in my smartphone analogy, designed to be intuitive. And normally within an hour or so of launching the products, you can be building something useful that works and does so at scale, and therefore you can be delivering value back to your business within hours, days, or at the maximum a small number of weeks, depending on the complexity of your requirement. Of course, to help with all that, we have a wide range of content, great YouTube channel with lots of tutorials and downloadable ebooks and a support forum. We provide technical support to users of the product for best practice advice and Q&A and all that sort of good stuff. And yeah, that's how you can get started using Matillion ETL.
Awesome. And how can customers find out more about Matillion ETL for Azure Synapse and procure it through the Azure Marketplace?
The fastest way to find the product is simply to go to the Azure Marketplace and type Matillion. We also have a short link, which is appearing on your screen now. It's bit.ly/2, uppercase M, 8, uppercase L, lowercase q, uppercase F, 1. And if you go to the Azure Marketplace and simply type Matillion, the link will be there to launch directly.
Awesome. And we're going to put all that in the show notes as well, so people can just click on that and get right to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Matthew, how has partnering with Microsoft helped Matillion scale and grow your business?
Partnering with Microsoft has been great. I should say, of course, this is a new product, and so it's early in our partnership with the Synapse team. We've been on the Azure Marketplace for longer than that with some of our other products, so already had a resonant relationship there. I think the main thing that we've been able to deliver jointly with the Microsoft team through the quality of our partnership so far has been a product with a real high fidelity fit to requirements, a real ability to make an impact on getting to time to value faster by working closely with the Synapse product team and ensuring the Matillion ETL for Azure Synapse exposes the best of the Azure Synapse product to the user and allows them to make use of it as fast as possible. So that for me has been the most valuable thing so far about our partnership, just that ability to ship a great product for our joint customers by working together on it. Of course, Microsoft, a company with a very long pedigree in resonantly partnering, both technically and commercially, and therefore we hope we're both embarking on a great partnership once again here.
Awesome. And how could people find out more about Microsoft partnership opportunities for storage and data partners?
So people can find out more about partnership opportunities for storage and data with Microsoft. And I'm speaking on behalf of my colleagues here at Microsoft and delighted to recommend the experience. But you can go ahead and email storageanddata@microsoft.com. So that's storageanddata, all one word, at microsoft.com, and the fantastic team at Microsoft will get back to you about those partnership opportunities.
Wonderful. And Matthew, how do people connect with you?
So to connect with me, first of all, to connect with Matillion, you can go to matillion.com and there's a range of different things you can download, forms you can fill out. You can hit the chat bot and we'll get straight back to you with some people super enthusiastic about data. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can find me on LinkedIn, Matthew Scullion, and the company is Matillion, or on Twitter, and that's at Matthew Scullion.
Wonderful. Matthew, do you have any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience?
Oh, wow. What a responsibility and a privilege. Parting words of wisdom. Hey, maybe I'll end where I started. Today, every company doesn't just want to, but needs to compete using data and do so at an accelerated rate. So with that in mind, my words of wisdom would be for companies to optimize towards time to value across that spectrum of the value chain, getting the data into one place, yes, but transforming it into something useful, doing that in a sophisticated IT setting at scale and as a team, optimizing towards that, and remembering perhaps that with cell phones, it wasn't super simple that went out or functional but clunky that went out, but it was consumer-like and sophisticated. And for me, that's the sweet spot in data transformation.
Matthew, thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom. I really enjoyed having you on the show.
It was my honor and privilege. Thanks for the great questions and good luck with the channel.